Billionaires and their routines. If you don't have a morning routine, you are poor. You are going to die poor. You're going to be broke forever. If you don't have a 6-hour morning routine that consists of just faffing around in aesthetically pleasing shots for hours and hours and hours and then not ending up at a place of work, you're poor and you're going to die early, or at least according to most billionaires. This is the new trend. This is the new thing. Everyone needs a morning routine. Everyone needs to know exactly what they're doing. Everyone needs to wake up before the sun does. If you don't, you're poor and unintelligent, especially if you work a night shift. Even if you work nights like me, you got to be up with the birds. This is how you're going to live forever. Today, we're having a look at billionaire health freak Brian Johnson, a man who has, I guess, kind of retired from the idea of making money and has now just dedicated himself to making himself live for as long as possible. He's spending millions and millions and millions of dollars every single year on doctors, nutritionists, specialists, scientists. A few scam artists have got to be in there in the mix, and their job is to just make sure that he lives for as long as possible and his biological age keeps decreasing. Well, not his biological age, his body's age compared to what he actually is, or compared to the average person age. I don't understand what he's doing, but he looks like a vampire. So I guess goal achieved, because vampires live a really long time. I mean, they also drink the blood of children, but hey, he's a billionaire. He probably does too. Okay, so I was joking about the drinking the blood of children part, but I just Googled it, and he takes the blood of his own son and puts it into his body. Yeah, it's terrible, isn't it? I don't understand that, all right? Hey, son, give me your blood. Not the worst bodily fluid you could take from your son, but still pretty bad. Before we get into it, I've started vlogging. Check out my second channel, Lou2. I've been dropping vlogs every single week. I'm really proud of them. I really don't like the sensationalized, hyper-edited versions of vlogs that we've been seeing on YouTube for years and years and years. This is something more of a visual journal, a visual diary, something a bit more serious, introspective. If you want to check it out, I'm really proud of them. But if you want funny stuff, let's continue. Anyway, let's have a look at Brian Johnson's morning routine that he says is going to make you live to 120 plus.
Today I'm going to walk you through every single detail of what I do. Since doing this 2.5 years ago, I've become the most measured person in history.
I disagree. I don't think you can call yourself the most measured man in history when porn stars like Jason Love exist, all right? If I'm like 12 to 15 inches, depending on my mood, that's getting measured every time I leave the house, all right? I'm whipping it out at parties. I'm whipping it out at the club. I'm even hiring myself out to do puppet shows. This is the most measured man in history. You can have second place, but there's no way you're beating like one of the biggest male porn stars in the world, if you know what I mean.
After this, I'll flip on this UV light. This is 10,000 lux at 12 inches. I turn this on, and I usually just enjoy thinking about the day for a minute.
What do you mean you enjoy thinking about the day where you're getting blasted by the sun? I mean, this is basically me right now. Look at all these lights that are just pointed directly into my eyeballs right now. I'm standing right in front of it. This is horrible. All right, I can barely tolerate looking into the lens of the camera, and I only really have to do this twice a week. This dude's doing it every morning. Hey man, why don't you just wake up a little bit later and you can look at the actual sun instead of standing there in your bathroom shirtless thinking about the day? I would be thinking about ending it all. If I had to stare into the sun in my bathroom, at least go outside. You can feel the breeze on your weirdly pale chest.
So I can't see the sun, and so in place of the sun, I'll use this device. It helps set circadian rhythm. It improves sleep.
Yeah, no shit, it improves sleep, dude, because every time you stare into something this bright, all you want to do is close your eyes and go to bed. I can't believe that. I must be really healthy. If it's the morning when I'm recording this, I'm going to live to 120 because all I do is stare into soft boxes for a job. Every streamer in the world is going to live to 150. I'm just kidding. Of course, the average streamer isn't going to have a very big lifespan. A lot of those guys stream Minecraft, and at the rate they message children, a lot of them are going to get taken out by other inmates in prison.
I'll weigh myself every day. It's weight, BMI, fat, muscle, visceral fat, water.
So far, all this guy has done is woken up in the morning, skipped breakfast, stared at himself in the mirror for 40 minutes, and then stand on various scales to measure his body fat and body weight in 17 different ways. This dude has the same morning routine as your average teenage girl with an eating disorder.
And it's also a nice time to do a little meditation. I'll focus on my breathing. All right, complete. Let's go downstairs.
Am I crazy, or is this guy's morning routine just like an hour of doing fuck all? He hasn't done anything. So I wake up in the morning and then I stand there and I think, and then I stand on the scales and I think, and then I get back into bed and I put an LED mask on and I sit there and think, and then I come downstairs so I can do some more sitting and thinking. This guy's done absolutely nothing. This dude has the same morning routine as a depressed man who hates his job and doesn't want to show up but needs the money.
So it's somewhere between 4:30 and 6 a.m. I wake up. I go to bed at the same time every single night. And sometimes I sleep through the entire night and I wake up earlier and I'm ready to go. Sometimes I wake up once and I have to go back to sleep, so that requires a bit more time. But I never set an alarm, I just wake up.
All right, finally, we're in agreement here. The natural wake up is the way to go. This is what I do. This is what billionaires do. Waking up whenever you feel like it, no alarm. That's the way to wake up. I will say this, little caveat though. He's a billionaire and I'm a comedian, all right? He doesn't need to work a day in his life ever again. And all I do is get up on stage at night and talk about my dick. So if you're a construction worker or someone who contributes to society and has a real job, the natural wake up will probably get you fired. But if you, like him and me, have the perfect piece of shit lifestyle, waking up naturally, it does make you feel a lot better.
And so every day when my team and I meet up, we're talking about, like, you know, the heart or the lungs or the...
Whoa! Does this guy have red hair or black hair? I can't figure it out. Every time I look at him, it looks like he has jet black hair, but now I look at him, it turns out he's a ranger with a ponytail and braids. Who's that? He's got a clone. I'm telling you, man. He grew his own clone, and when that clone reaches middle age, he's going to kill him and harvest his organs. That's how this guy is going to live forever. Did anyone else just have an uncanny valley moment? I thought he looked one way. It turns out he's actually a ranger with a ponytail. What's going on? I will say though, I do think it's really cool what he's doing. I think it's like actually a very useful, really interesting contribution to science and the idea of living a long, healthy life. Because let's say this dude actually is nailing it and he really is doing everything correctly and he does live to 120. Do we even want to live to 120? Like, what is this guy's life going to be like at 120? Is he going to have like a nice, good life like your average 80-year-old who's healthy? Or is he just going to be some decrepit biomass sludge sitting in a hospital bed hooked up to life support, desperately trying to keep himself breathing for an experiment? Who knows? I'm interested to find out.
The therapy, and then we implement it. But my job is to basically go through this full process from identifying the organ to looking at the analysis and then incorporating it.
Okay. This guy has a pill box woman that comes into his house and does the pills. I would pay her the most. If I am Brian Johnson, she's the one that's getting paid more than the doctors, more than the nutritionist, more than the personal trainer. The woman that puts the pills in the box that I don't check, I just swallow, she's getting the most money because you do not want to annoy her. Otherwise, you're going to get a few extras in that box, if you know what I mean, and then you're going to feel very sleepy very rapidly.
Be the science. It's like being the entire process of the discovery and analysis to the implementation.
God, how brutal would it be if this guy just got hit by a train or something? Like, not to be morbid, but what a waste of money if this guy leaves the house one day and forgets to look when he's crossing the road. What a loss to science. Billions of dollars have gone into this man's body, and we're not going to know the actual results until he's like 70, 80, 90. And imagine if he just, I don't know, falls down the stairs and hits his neck on the wrong angle. You'd be like, fuck, all of my research ruined. Why couldn't you be more careful? God damn. This dude has to be the most paranoid person ever. You know when you buy something nice, like some new shoes or like a watch that's expensive for you or like a nice piece of clothing. You're like, shit, I don't want to get any pasta sauce on it. Imagine spending $10 million a year on your own body. You'd be like, no, I'm not going rock climbing, actually. Absolutely not. I will not be skydiving, all right? This was expensive. Not like your piece of shit McDonald's-filled body. This is actually science-proof bodybuilding millionaire dollar. I don't know, it's expensive, all right? I'm not gonna risk it.
When you see my 3 to 4 hour routine, this is not something I'm trying to suggest you do. I'm just trying to give you context on what I do, and then you can hopefully pull nuggets from it here and there on what you want to do, but you definitely don't need to do the entirety of my routine.
Man, I like this guy. I think he's interesting. I think he's quite, humble for a dude who almost certainly made his money in an ill-gotten way. How did he make his money? Where did he get the money from? Let me look up this dude. Dude, no way. I thought that name sounded familiar. Brian Johnson is the Liver King. Look, why do we have two uber-rich Brian Johnsons who are very obsessed with being as healthy as possible in the weirdest way possible? Look at these two and tell me that either of them look actually healthy. None of them do. They're both going to die on the same day, all right? That's my prophecy. Not a threat, just a prediction. A guess? In Minecraft. Oh, he just made a payment solution company and then sold it to eBay for $800 million. That's pretty good for a billionaire. Not bad, all right? I don't believe that he's involved with Congolese child labor, so, good on him. I use eBay sometimes. Let him have his limitless wealth. I hope he lives to 150.
30 seconds. And the first time you would do this, it's going to be the most intense, it's like an orgasmic sneeze. It's the most intense feeling you've ever had in your entire life around a sneeze.
So let me get this straight. You wake up in the morning, you look in the mirror, you get back into bed, you get out of bed, and then you use the vibrator. I know heaps of women like that. That's like most women these days on their day off.
We will go work out. Oh, prior to that, I'll use red light therapy. I started losing my hair in my early 30s.
Bro, more lights! I'm telling you, this guy loves lights. He loves just fucking shining shit onto his body. Look at that fit. That's awesome. It looks like what some acid head would wear to a rave. He's about to freak out a girl who's had way too much acid with his lights on his fingers and shit. That's incredible. Who wants to fucking charge their hat every day, man? That shit sucks. He's gonna pull out a lightsaber next.
Got it, and they say it's a green goop, and they like to make fun of it. It's really helpful to have it in this blended form, almost like a veggie hummus.
Yeah, look, as someone who is still struggling with eating solid food, if I have to look at anything blended ever again in my life, I might spew. I am so over blended sludge. I've been eating that for about 2 years, okay? And I want the opposite to happen to my lifespan that Brian Johnson wants to happen to his, all right? If I have to down another smoothie of sludge, all right, shorten my lifespan to today. Thank you. Nah. I want to chew. I will say though, the man's jacked. For a dude his age, like he looks weird. He looks really strange. He looks uncanny valley. He doesn't look real. He looks like someone applied like a high def mod to a Sims character. But if you disregard the translucentness of his skin and his face and the texture of his hair and just like the expressions that he pulls sometimes and what he's wearing and how he's acting, he is actually quite muscular. So good on him. He looks pretty fit. Dude, look at the posture of look at the posture on him. That's incredible. This dude is getting up to some secret activities when the cameras are off, if you know what I mean. He knows how to ride. That's all I'm going to say.
I don't want anyone to feel overwhelmed by this. Oftentimes, life is defined by our ability just to take that first baby step and do the most minimal of actions in life. It helps start building momentum.
I like that. That's so true. Like if you're in a tough place, yeah, you got to start really slow, and any progress is good progress. You know, there was a time for years where I could not get out of bed. I had an illness holding me back, and it was all I could do to maybe record a podcast sometimes, to maybe get out of bed and make it to the airport to do a few shows. It was just baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. And now as I've become healthier, as I've overcome the challenges of my illness, and I've started to become well and recover from, the cure to my illness. I'm still really in recovery from that. I'm slowly building up tolerance. And the guy's completely right. It's just starting. And if all you can do is get out of bed, at a reasonable time every day for a week, that's a huge start, and I'm very proud of you.
Preparing for my son Talmadge to go to school in 2 months. He's my best friend. We do everything together. I'm beginning to plan what I'm going to do when he's not here, and so I have a solution. Talmadge, do you want to have breakfast with me today? How are you? Talmadge, what's happening today? What's going on? Do you want to bite a super veggie?
Okay, does this guy have a life-size cutout of his own son shirtless holding a vial of his blood that his father harvests? Optics, man, optics. When you're a billionaire, you can't have shirtless children giving up their blood printed out life-sized in your house to show to visitors, let alone to put on the internet. There's a lot of people that are into a lot of conspiracies that start with the letter Q that would want to eat your heart like they think you do. I wouldn't be posting that shit. All right, that's where we're going to leave it. Subscribe, like the video, share. Check out my vlog, Lou Vlog, on the second channel. I've been putting out some amazing videos. I'm really passionate about it. I think they're really cool, and they're getting better every single week. I want you to watch them. I'm Lewis Spears, and I will talk to you in a couple of days.